Afternoon, how are you? Welcome to FFTV. And yes, we're going to do another live stream daily vibe because everyone in the chat was asking, let's do lives. So I'll try and do lives as quick as possible. I will also get videos out when we can during the day, like the Ben White one earlier, just to give my thoughts on obviously the news breaking, what I think about Ben White, etc. if no one can make it in the live stream. But if you've not already, make sure you hit the subscribe, like, share, comment. We're building a great community on the YouTube, which is really good. And there is a few stories flying around today. Obviously, the obvious ones that it feels like we just keep seeing in the media all the time: the Whites, the Varanes, the Locatellis, the Haalands, etc. And they seem to be the ones that are majorly taking all the headlines when it comes to the transfers. Now, it can become a little bit annoying because there's so many people speaking about these transfers, but what it does do, it gives people different opinions, their analysis, their insight, and some people prefer certain types and some people prefer others. You've got Fabrizio Romano texting and tweeting every 2 minutes, stating the obvious a lot of the time, then Sky, then AFTV, then me, then there's loads of channels talking about the same thing. However, each individual will speak about how they think the player will do, and a little bit more insight from myself, obviously being involved in the game, can be slightly different from other people. So stay tuned, obviously get my opinion when it comes to certain transfer rumors, etc. Because if you're already a part of this channel, you know it's very different from most of your fan channels. So again, welcome everyone in the chat. We've already got people in the chat as well. We will wait for a few more to get through the questions. But first of all, let's touch on the game that we've just watched. I don't know if anyone watched it. I managed to get a stream up. I watched it. Yes, it's only a preseason friendly. Like I said in the Arteta out video, go and check Arteta out was stupid. Go and check that out video and you will understand how I came to that conclusion, and my reasoning for Arteta out trending is still a little bit silly and premature at this moment in time. So the game that we've just had now, Rangers, if you've not watched it, we dominated the game with about 60% possession. We had numerous chances, but again, Aubameyang could not finish his dinner, and it's becoming a little bit of a concern that looks like he's never played up front in his life. From a man who scored so many goals and couldn't miss to the last 12 months, has really struggled to find the back of the net. And world-class players don't really struggle to find the back of the net. They don't worry about confidence. If you ever speak to Ronaldo, if you ever speak to Messi, or interviews Kobe Bryant, God bless him, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, they never say confidence is an issue. They just say form sometimes changes, but they're always consistent and they're always confident that they're going to score. Not many people are like that, and it shows because Aubameyang just can't hit a barn door. He can't finish his dinner and he can't hit a barn door. He's had 3 or 4 absolute sitters today, which he should have scored, and it's a bit of a problem. We really need to get Aubameyang to his old self, and I'm not sure whether it's Arteta. I'm not sure whether his head's been swayed by something else, his interest in life or something else. I'm not sure. He is 31, so he will be thinking of life after football. So I'm just not sure when it comes to what's going on with Aubameyang. But go to the game. Tavares started really well. He bombed on. He got a great finish. He did say in interviews that he's preferred to score more goals with his right foot. So he's predominantly both-footed, it looks like. He's left, but can use both feet. He's got a good finish, even though we went behind. And a lot of the other players did all right today. Yes, they're only playing Rangers. Let's be honest. Rangers, even though they won the SPL is like I would say the top half of League One and 2 or 3 teams from the Championship. It's not a very strong league at all. And Arsenal got a little bit more in the groove than they did against Hibernian, but they should have won this game. Alarmingly, they conceded 2 soft set pieces. And that probably leads us on to Ben White. But Ben White is not your big 7-foot centre-half who's going to be attracted to the ball and, and head everything. So apparently they've got a set-piece coach in. Yes, it's going to take time for the set-piece coach to come in. I understand that and do his work, very much so. But it was just a little bit worry that we conceded from set pieces, because set pieces are normally the ones where you miss out on certain points during the season. You lose so many points from set pieces if you switch off. It looked like we'd gone a little bit zonal. I'm not 100% sure, and we lost a couple of men, and they scored the 2 goals. But Arsenal should have won. So the good signs from the game earlier, if you did not watch it, tempo was very good. Youth did quite well. Balogun was bang average. Smith, ESR did well. They was on the front foot. They moved the ball really well. Pepe did okay. The downside was we're only playing Rangers. Aubameyang can't finish his dinner, and we conceded from 2 set pieces. So mixed feelings, to be honest, when it comes to the game. But like you say, it's only pre-season, and there's plenty of time to be getting this kind of structure right. So I'll go to your comments. Thanks ever so much, as always, popping in. Chris, thanks again for your support. Chris's support, more Aubameyang misses cities, Aries enter cynical, or just playing his career down, raking in wages, or playing under Arteta is difficult and disheartening. I think it's the latter. I've got to be honest. I think the relationship has never really started off well. Chris's support, Wenger used to limit players over 31 to 1-year contracts. Now you can see why Tony would have scored both those sitters. Ivan Toney is the one you should be going for. I think they're a little bit scared to spend 40 million on a striker from the Championship, because that's probably what it would be. But 40 million for a striker who might get you 20, 25 goals, who then will be worth 75, it's good business. But football snobbery is coming to there. Chris has also put this: Aubameyang down in tools compared to previous seasons. Began when Ozil was removed by Arteta. Maybe there's a bit of player solidarity behind the scenes going on. Listen, from past experiences, Aubameyang is a very, very influential player in the dressing room. I was very similar. Some managers love it. Most managers do not like it, because you have a lot more power at times than the manager. Hence, they will treat you in a different way and try and get you out. However, Arteta has continuously played Aubameyang, continuously supported him and backed him. So I'm not sure why Aubameyang, if that was the case, would have a certain issue with Arteta. Jamrock Gunners put big up to yourself. Grant's coming, as always. Afternoon, Francis. How are you? I am excellent, as always. Excellent. Lilia and Ramos put Rangers should have won. Yeah, they should have. They missed a sitter just before Nketiah got gifted that goal. Wilson, what's happening, mate? He's put, yo, Francis, I hope that you are staying safe and doing well. You too. Wilson has also put, I believe that Ben White will be a good signing for Arsenal because he suits our style, our playing style, and he's quite quick. However, we still have to get a lot of work to do in terms of buying players. 100%. I don't think no one can deny that Ben White is just one piece of a puzzle that we need, and our puzzle could be quite detailed. 50 million for Ben White is a lot of money, but other defenders were brought for more than that. I think, listen, to the working man, 50, when you're talking about football fees, you're thinking 50 million pounds, like what you would do with that, how it would change this and how it would change that and change the world in some areas, etc. But it's the way football's going. A young Premier League English player is 30 to 50 to 60 million, you know? That's just the market. Lily has put, I was impressed with Tavernier today from the Rangers. From Rabat, he will be perfect for us and will be cheap. Do you agree? I think he's good. I think he'd do all right at Arsenal. Yeah, there's a lot of interest. There's been a lot of interest in him over the years. Great news that Jimenez is back. Yeah, really good news that is. Static, thanks for popping in. He's put, hey, friend, keep up the great work. Appreciate it. We do it for yourself. That's what we do it for. Jamrock's put, should have won the game. Abel was poor, but ESR and Pepe looked lively. Yeah, they did. Pepe looked lively. Pepe just needs to do it more consistently. We know that. And then he becomes worth his money, but he's got a lot of work to do. As Wilson's put, as much as I do not fully believe in Arteta, signings like Ben White, Lukonga, and Tavares are literally what we needed, but there is still a lot of work to do. Yeah, now, believe it or not, a lot of people, Wilson, will say, hey, no, we don't need those type of players. However, I do think that's where we're shopping. We're trying to get bargains. We're trying to produce players. Everyone wants this Leicester model. Well, that's what Leicester did. So you can't say you want the Leicester model and then be, unhappy that we've signed someone who's not proven. Rangers are a very good side, and nobody should be doubting them, in my opinion. They're okay, but they're a bottom half championship team. Rangers at best. Lily's put, I would say Rangers and Celtic are Premier League level. Nah, they're not. Trust me, they're not. Nowhere near. I tell you what, I think if there was in the Premier League, they would be fighting for relegation nearly every season. And then I think there'd be yo-yo club. like your West Broms, like those types of clubs. They just don't. They either get older players from the UK or from England, or they get players. They have to go bargain hunting and try and get players who are not proven and do it that way. And you might get the odd gem, but like you say, that's just my opinion. Having a look at Celtic and Rangers over the years, they just wouldn't be sustainable. Chris has put, we need a finisher. We can knock the ball around okay, but the finishing is poor. Eddie scored for once in 6 games goal, plus Tavares as centre forward. Tony, I know you did comment on one of the videos, but every time I click on it, it never opens. So I don't know what the problem is, but I hope you well. Tony's put, I hope if Ben White is signed, we get a partner for him and stick with that partnership so it can develop. Central defenders is so important. I do not want to see wholesome changes from game to game. Well, I think it's stupid how people change centre halves all the time. It's the most important partnership, probably. And then you centre forward partnerships, secondly. So yeah, get Gabby next to Ben White, take it from there. And if you're going to play a free, then play obviously Murray in a free. He might go to a free to create a solid foundation, and then he might play 2 wing backs. I'm not too sure, but you never know. Preseason is about fitness and getting people in shape. 100%. Preseason is preseason. Which player do you prefer, Sabitzer or Iowa? I think that's how I pronounce his name. Both luxury players. I'd probably go for Iowa, to be honest. Both players people think that we need, but there's no point in having luxury players if the bricks are not there, That is put to be fair. I know posh players, Sariq and Dembele, J. Clark Harris. Yeah, both good players. Both had to go the long route round, both good players. Do you think that Madison would be ideal attacking midfield that Arsenal needed? I think he'd be very, very good. Chris has also put, big up Franny. Aubameyang hasn't been the player since he signed that contract. I think we look too deep into that because we've seen what happened with Ozil. These players are already millionaires, so an extra 100 grand a week doesn't really make much to their lifestyle, really. They're already rich. They're already famous. They're already set up for life, So I'm not too sure. I think it's just timing. Would you take Akinfenwa as a bench player since his body is jacked? I'm worried about his bed because the bed will be like, give me justice. Nah. I played against Akinfenwa. There's no way. No way at all. No way. He's got worse to touch than Lukaku, mate. There's no chance. Wilson, which player do you prefer, Max Aarons or Lamptey? Max Aarons. Grant's put, if Rangers and Celtic were in England, they would get the same amount of money as the rest and do also their grounds would generate huge money. Both phones would do well in England. I think when they first come, they wouldn't last in the Premier League 2 minutes. But I think once they establish themselves, because they've got the money, they've got the backing, they've got the appeal, then I think they would be sustainable after a couple of years and stay. I loved Rangers fullbacks today, and if Kent and Morris were there, they would have won. Yeah, I thought Bassi was very good for ex-Leicester. Chances of Maddison coming to Arsenal, I think, are about 30%. K-Shu, thanks for popping in. Really do appreciate it. He's put, who do you think will win? Inter Milan versus Arsenal, Lukaku versus Holding. Yeah, interesting in the cup. Pre-season again, so I think Inter Milan will probably win. But Inter Milan are stronger. Devon's put, embarrassing, get out of this club. Craig has put, Fran, what marquee signing do Arsenal need to bring in? Well, I think Ben White's going to be the marquee signing, to be honest. Why do English players cost so much money? They cost because, one, they're English. We have, it's called an English tax, and English players tend to be worth a lot more because, especially if they play international football, because they play international for football for England, that's why they cost more. Just imagine I could film what Burnley next to Chris Wood. Yeah, God. It would not be a pretty sight, I could tell you that. Bassi is not our first choice left back. Barisic is, but he's still on holiday. Yeah, Bassi was good. Like him, very athletic, gets forward. I like him. Still only 20, 21, I think. He's got potential if you get into him. Still think we need another creative midfielder with Smith Rowe to outbreak the lines and get our attacking going. Agreed. And Aaron's to Atleti if Trippier goes. Interesting. So let's get into it. So we're going to cover, firstly, obviously, the Ben White. Let's cover Ben White. So Ben White, I did a video earlier, as you know, about Ben White. I think it's a good signing. 50 million, I think, has raised a few eyebrows. 40 million people might have turned different and said, I can understand. 50 million has raised a few eyebrows. And the reason 50 million has raised a few eyebrows is because we need so many players in different areas. As you know, you would have listened to other YouTubers, you would listen to other people, etc. And people are concentrated on this creativity and people are concentrating on goals. Well, let me tell you something. I always say it. If your defense is not right, it doesn't matter how many creative midfielder players you bring in. It doesn't matter how many centre forwards you bring in. You will lose more games than you will win over the course of the season. You need to get the foundations solid, and then you build from there. And that is what Arteta seems to be doing. Now, a lot of people, as you know, the other video that I put, like, Arteta out was a stupid. And then when you watch the video, a lot of people were like, oh, Fran, I understand what you're saying now. Because when they see the title, think I'm going crazy. But then they looked at the stream and they understood, they understood what I meant when I was saying it's stupid at this moment. As I said, Arteta has been given a budget. He's been given a target to finish in the league already. If he gets 6, it'll be amazing. But I think he's been given a target of 6, and we go from there. We're not going to get any higher. But when they sit down and they give targets to the Cronkays, etc., the Cronkays then back and forth, and that's how it works. They've been given, say, 200 million, if we're lucky. Don't know what it means when it comes including wages or not including wages, taxes, etc., things like that. So you have to understand how we build a team. It's all right having, I want, this luxury player, or I want that centre forward for off my budget, or I want this, and you use all your budget and you don't build a team. I always say it. My wife, I like style. I clothes. I can put things together. I'm very creative. My wife has no creativity whatsoever. We'll go shopping. She'll buy, I don't know, a pink roll neck with some lime green shorts, just for an example. Something crazy, okay? They don't go because she doesn't see the final picture. And as fans, I think we don't see the final picture of what managers are trying to do. They have to try and build teams like Google, like Amazon, like Apple, like Tesco, like Asda. You need to build a team. And he knows that he needs a ball-playing centre-back who could play right, he could play CDM. He can play in 3 positions. And he's 23. And he's a ball. He's now the best ball-playing defender we have in the Arsenal squad. There's not a better ball-playing player than Ben White. Ben White is the most comfortable on the ball. He's the best on the ball. So from my point of view, I can understand why he's gone for Ben White as the main target at first. And he's got your Locatellis or Aurier or Aura, whatever his name is, but he apparently going Spurs, and then Odegaard, we can't get Odegaard, and then you've got all these other players, DePaul, and all these other players that have been named with us, but they're just paper talk. He's building a team. He knows what he needs. He needs a ball-playing centre-off. He needs also a ball-playing right-back, because the Bellerin is gone. Was going to be gone. We know that. So we're going to need someone there. Chambers and people like this are not good enough. They're not good enough. So he needs that. He then also needs another midfielder who makes third-man run-ins from deep. So your Locatellis, your other people. Basuma was mentioned to partner Partey. But if you get the balance right, you don't need no one to partner Partey, who's devastating, if you get the balance right. Because Partey is apparently, I've not seen it yet, good enough to make sure to have someone who's aside of him who's not as good. That's what I've been told. That's why everyone was making songs about him and raving about him. Don't get ahead of yourself. This is what I always say. Has Partey got the qualities to be great? Yes. Is he as good as everyone thought? No. We need someone else. And we need someone else to scare Lacazette and scare Aubameyang into making sure that they are not going to be first on the team sheet. So we definitely need that. I think down the sides are going to be all right. I think ESR will be all right. And I think we need one else. I know Ziyech may be not available. Could be an option, leaving Chelsea, etc., things like that. So for me, I think that Ben White is a good signing, and I can see why Arteta is going for it. However, if we don't get out other targets, he has literally probably cost himself his Arsenal job if results do not go well. Because if results don't go well, but he brings with Ben White, a Locatelli, a forward, and 4 or 5 players, okay, and it goes well, the fans will say, you know what, he's had his window, he's tried well, but the style of play is not working, and they would probably want him out, but they would not be as ruthless as if it goes wrong without getting the right signings. They will not be as ruthless. So let me go to a couple of your comments. But Wilson's put, do you think Locatelli will end up at Juventus? So we'll go on to Locatelli, Wilson, and I'll let you know my thoughts on that. Devan's also put, Arteta has to go. He's a muppet, got Kante in set. Listen, Devan, listen. We're dreaming. We are dreaming. We are not in Marks and Spencer's no more. We are not in Marks and Spencer's no more. We can't have the choice of the finest things. We don't get the finest managers. We don't get the finest players. We are not there. So we have to be realistic. Conte is nowhere near and never going to come to Arsenal. We don't have the money for him. We don't have the project for him. We don't have the ambition for him. We need to lower. We need to lower. And it's sad to say, but that's where we are. And that way, you won't get frustrated. You won't get angry. Because you need to understand that we are not in a position to get this sort of caliber. We're just not. And we won't be for a very long time. K-Show has put Smith Rowe is playing games with his stupid number. Yeah, well, he's going to be a number 10. And what they do pre-season is they just use pre-season shirts. They won't be the shirts that they use for the season. So the shirts that they use pre-season will be like their second or third home kit because they get brand fresh ones for the beginning of the season. Devon's put Ben, you know what, a bit harsh. Wilson, if Locatelli joins Juventus, do you think Arsenal should be getting Basuma? Everyone's obsessed with Basuma. Yet we're questioning Ben White for 50 million. You know, it's strange what we look at. Basuma, for me, is good. But they're probably going to want, like you say, 60 million, 55 million. I've heard 40 million was thing. And he's not the type of player that we need. He's not good enough on the ball. Arteta wants to play football. I want to see football. I don't want to see people who can't play football. Basuma is not a great footballer. So I don't know why everyone's raving about him. Fran, Craig's put, Fran, Arsenal paid 50 million to Brighton, but they wouldn't pay the full amount for Buendia. Thoughts on that? Very strange one. Very strange one. I've got to be honest. My thoughts on that is that they think that they can get someone else or better than Buendia for the price that Villa paid. So they think that they can get someone for 40 million who's probably better than Buendia. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what's going on behind the scenes, but yeah, it's a strange one. For me, it's bad business. I think they should have definitely gone for Buendia. Devon's put, it isn't stupid wanting Arteta out. He's a crap manager. It is stupid at the moment because last season is now gone and it's now pre-season and people are shouting Arteta out now at pre-season when we don't know how the season's going to start. So Arteta out, believe me, I'm an Arteta out person. But you must, no, it's not you must, because everyone is individual and you have your own beliefs and you have your own mindset, which is we all respect. But to do it now and put pressure and create a storm already, which makes it 9-9 impossible for him to have a decent season, is the wrong thing to do at this moment. But trust me, within 4 or 5 weeks, if we lose our first 3 games, Arteta out will be out everywhere, and you'll see me ranting and going crazy on here. I just think it's a stupid time to be doing it now in pre-season, when pre-season doesn't mean jack diddly squat until the season starts. That's what I mean, Devon. But fully understand that you've had enough of him. Fully understand that you think he's crap. I don't think he's great, but I'm a very balanced man, and I believe that I don't really judge people on what happened yesterday. It's what actions you're doing today to move forward. Devon's also put, did you say finishing 6th, the expectations from fans? I think finishing 6th is probably the expectations from the owners. And that's why we have got the manager and the budget that we have. Because above 6th means your budget needs to go up and your ambition needs to go up. So I think realistically, if they get top 6, they'll have targets. What happens at the beginning of the season? The managers go in. He then relays that to his coaching staff, performance coach, etc. And they say, listen, this is our target. This is how the bonus structure is going to work. If we get above this, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. If we get in Europe, that's normally how it works. But so I believe I think if the expectations are fourth, they're all lying to themselves because it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, then for me, he's done an unbelievable job. And all of a sudden, we should say he's one of the best managers we've had in years. So for me, I don't think we'll get top four. I don't think no one's expecting us to get top four because you've got to be realistic from where you are at. Don't get me wrong. It could all click and we could be sat here in 12 months' time and saying, wow, unbelievable manager, you know? Lily's put, if I'm a defender, I will be worried or sweating myself if Burnley get Akinfenwa next quid was. They will pump 1 million balls in the box. Would that be nice? Would that be nice, Fran, if you were a centre-back? No, it would be nice, but it's very easy to combat. It's very easy to play against Chris Wood. It's very easy to play against Akinfenwa. You just don't dive in and keep them facing away from goal. The only way they will damage you is if the ball goes up to them, you try and dive in and they roll you, or ball comes into them, they play it out wide, and they beat you into the box in a straight line. It's so easy to play against players like Chris Wood and Akinfenwa. It's so easy. You don't have to be big and you don't have to be strong. I think I've missed a few. Wait there. Tried to get them all. You know it's hard for me to go through them all. Time-wise, I read some out. Chris has put waiting for green jumper on you about her wardrobe. Yeah. Kevin Keegan lost the league once with Newcastle because he thought his attack could outscore everybody every week and never strengthened their defense. Massive point. Massive point. If you don't strengthen your defense, you're going to be struggling. Chris has put Tony Z. That was a classic season. They showed the team with the best defense wins the league. 100%. Couldn't believe he lost the league then time. Newcastle should have won the league months before. Respect your opinion. Of course, that's why we're in here. That's life. Everyone has different opinions, different beliefs, different hardcore wiring. You know, we have to biohack and start to biohack our own minds by learning and understanding everybody. That's what we need to do. Realism wins every time. Facts, Fran. Yeah, we can only go off facts, can't we, in certain beliefs. Devon's put, what's the point of playing Bellerin, Willock, Nelson, Eddie when they ain't good enough and some of them want to leave? Stupid from Arteta, get him out. The reason he plays them is because some of the time they might be staying. They might not be able to get rid of them. So they have to fill up to get games to keep them fit so someone does take them. If you don't play them, value goes down, fitness goes down, worth goes down. So that's why they continue to play them, Devon. Tony's put, once we were shopping in Harrods, then M&S, and now Lidl. Lidl, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Some Lidl food's quite nice. But, you know, we was in Marks and Spencer's, Waitrose, like Waitrose. Devon's put, what? Basuma is a quality, technical, good, and well, clearly you don't watch him play him, and Partey would do a madness. Hey, listen, I was an agent of 2 Brighton players, so I know Basuma quite well. Just to obviously rephrase that one, so I know Basuma quite well. Watched him many times, but he's not. For example, he wouldn't go any top 4 club wouldn't take him. So for me, that tells me a lot that he's not worth the money that Brighton wanted. And is he a good player? Yeah. But is he the player that Arteta needs on the ball in Arsenal? No. But is he a good player? Yeah. Would he complement Partey? We think he would. A lot think he would. We don't know the dynamics until it happens. But me, I've been watching Basuma very closely for a while. I'm playing a lot, obviously, myself. I personally think the reason Arteta and the story is just gone is because Arteta does not think that he is good enough to play the way that Arteta wants to play, which is just about opinions. Many people may want Basuma come in and he's perfect for a 2 holding midfielders. Like, for example, he'd play every game for England because he's a holding midfielder and we love 2 holding midfielders. But then he wouldn't play for Man City, probably, or a Liverpool, or even a Man United. You know, Man United, you would think if Basuma's available, Man United who've got Fred and McTominay, if Basuma was that good, I think they would be interested in getting him ahead of Fred and McTominay. But it's all about opinions. It's about opinions until you can show me, you know, why you think Basuma would be good in the way Arteta wants to play. It's all about the way Arteta wants to play. Wilson, the bottom line is that Kroenke is a far bigger problem than Arteta. Yeah, Kroenke's not going nowhere, so it is what it is with Kroenke. Ben White actually impressed me at Brighton. He's a good player. Will boost our team 100%. Well, listen, if you watch Ben White quite a lot when he went to Leeds as well, Leeds, they still want him. Chelsea want him, but he's not going to be a regular at Chelsea. I believe that's why the reason the squad's too big, that Arsenal have obviously been front running for a while because of promises maybe that he's down to him just to be, if he performs, that he's one of the first teams on the first names on the team sheet. But if you watched him for Brighton, his versatility and how comfortable he is on the ball, he doesn't panic. Very rarely does he panic. That could be different at Arsenal. He's got pressure, etc. You're not too sure, so we will see. Chris has put more likely to get matching pink top and lime green shorts at Lidl. Yeah, you are. Those little bargain aisles. Fran, how many goals will Ivan Toney score against Arsenal? I think Ivan Toney will score against Arsenal. I really do. He will be thinking why Arsenal have not bidded for him. He's the best player, best forward outside the Championship. You can see that. He's just broke the Championship record. He's a better finisher and holds the ball up better than any Arsenal centre forward. But I think, again, would he be the type of player that suits the way Arteta wants to play, his philosophy? That's what I think. I think that's why it's not really gone nowhere. What are your thoughts on Ruben Neves? I'm disappointed that we've not got that one over the line. He is a ball playing player, as we know, can spray a ball left, right, and centre. Very good on the eye. Had a bad season last year, just like Nuno, who's gone Spurs. But season before, when everyone was fit and Jimenez, everyone, he was unbelievable. So I'm disappointed that we've not got that one over. Which player currently available is most like Robert Pires? Oh, that's a tough question, you know. There's not many like Robert Pires, Chris. Tony's put, Chris reminded Brian Clough always built defence first, brought in Peter Shilton and then two wing. You've always got to build from the back first. You don't build a house from the top first. You don't build a business from the top first. You don't build your life from the top first. Some people do, and if they build the life from the top first, they get it the wrong way around and they're struggling. You've got to build from the back first. Great content as usual, Fran. Thanks, Wilson. Great support as always. Oh, wow, over 750 subscribers, doing a great job. Yeah, listen, we could put loads of trash out there. We could put what everyone else puts, and we could put all this stuff that everyone wants to hear. But that's nonsense. We're real. We're real here. We're real. We say it how it is. I'll give you insight to agency, obviously, radio, commentary. People say the right things, the wrong things, being in the dressing rooms, racial abuse, all these kind of things. I'll tell you how it is from my past experience. I don't hold nothing back. And that's why we'll grow. And eventually we'll get where we need to get to. But every single subscriber, every single thumbs up, every single retweet, share, helps. And that's what we're about. We're about helping each other, not just in football as well. You know, we do some good knowledge, good days, a good stoic philosophy. Chris likes his philosophy. Then he's put, talking about Lidl, Arteta's best products will be sold at Poundland because that's the cost of a cone. yeah, you get those little cones. The cone man, as Curtis says all the time. Devon's put, big up, Fran. I'm 14 years old. Give my opinion. Your channel is great. Big up. Devon, really do appreciate it. 14 years old, year older than one of my daughters. Absolutely excellent. Well, no, 6 months older, probably. She's 14 this year. So, listen, 14 years old, try and learn as much as you can from people that have been through it, read books, etc. And yeah, listen, everyone has opinions. Just make sure that you're open to everyone's opinions and you try and dissect. But thank you, Devon, ever so much for the support, young man. Really do appreciate it. Fran, Arteta wears Armani, but manages like Primark. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's got a nice bank balance, hasn't he? Chris is obviously replying to Tony. He's put same George Graham, won the league. Great defense. Were the conduit for Wenger to win the league in 98. Yeah. What you got to do is, for me, you've got to look at it like this. Liverpool, when they hammered it, great defense. As soon as that defense went, shadow of themselves. Man City have lost very important games because their defense was not right. Last year, they got their defense solid. They nearly went all the way in every competition, you see? So you need to get it back. You can't just keep bombing forward and not have anything at the back. Lily's put, one of the most underrated players I want to go is Trossard. Trossard's a good player. Like him. Like him a lot. Tony's put, Chris, how do you do with the defense now? Tony Adams, etc. were just superb. Yeah, you don't defend like that because the art of defending is kind of gone because you don't really have to tackle. Lily's put, on Curtis's show, he shows the clown pictures of Arteta. He looks broken, man. He robs people on Halloween. Yeah, very, very funny. Curtis mocking, obviously, Arteta, etc. So next, I'm going to go on to, obviously, we spoke about the game. We spoke about Ben White. So we'll speak about Locatelli. Locatelli at the moment, we'll touch briefly on this because you've seen a lot about it in the news. Locatelli at the moment seems to really want to stay in Italy. I'm not sure whether he's married, family, has kids, etc. Excuse me. I'm not sure he's got married, as kids, etc. But Locatelli clearly wants to stay in Italy. However, like me and Curtis were talking about earlier, a lot of the time, the first club that want you or the club that show the most interest is not the club that you want to go to. So, for example, Arsenal have shown the most interest. They're the ones who are going to willing to put the money up first for Locatelli. But it hasn't seemed to be his first choice. He wants to stay in Italy. Okay. So that's fair enough. So Arsenal are in the driving seat, but the player's not convinced yet. He wants Juventus. He's going to try everything that he can to get to Juventus. But for all reports, Juventus don't have the payments or the way to try and get this deal done. It seems complicated from the Juventus end. Now, Arsenal are going to go in with a good bid, I believe. It's going to be public. Everyone's going to know about this bid. Few things will be going on behind the scenes right this minute, as you can imagine. And the reason the bid has not been out yet, because it's not as simple as saying, oh, by the way, we want this player, let's go and bid. You need to come. There's agents involved. Like I said, as you know, I used to be an agent, and it's our job, well, not my job no more, their job to try and get as many pieces together before everything starts to roll, because you're wasting your time if the team want this, that team don't want to play that. The player wants this, he don't want that. The player wants to live in a certain area. The club can't fund that area. There's no point in it starting. That's why you see loads of these rumors, and then 2 days later, they're out the window because people get too ahead of themselves. This Locatelli one seems to be the one that is gathering and gathering and gathering. And we are favourites. Now, someone said to me, if you don't want to come to Arsenal, why would you want him? Players are never really signed for the club that they really want to sign for. You know, Robinho thought he was going Man United and ended up at Manchester City. No joke, absolutely serious story. So if Juventus can't get the deal done, or Juventus offer him, I believe he's only on something like 22 grand a week for an Italian international. So say Juventus offer him 40 grand a week, but the payment structure is wrong, and Arsenal offer full amount or 2 payments and offer him 80 grand a week, which is still a bargain in terms of wages that you see these days, then the chances are his agent and everyone's going to sit down and persuade him to come to Arsenal. But if he's married and his wife don't want to move to England, it's a big, big problem. A reason a lot of players don't come to England, and the reason a lot of players don't do well in England for a long period of time, is because they don't like England. The weather is terrible. The culture is very different. Society is very different. The freedom, the lack of rules, the bad behavior is not popular with foreign players, because then even if they come from a tough background in certain areas, or even if they come from areas that still has crime, of course, and things like that, it's very different. They're used to the way that their country works. They're used to the way that the bad things happen in their country. And wives, etc., don't feel safe at times when they come to England. So you've got this big issue with trying to convince them to come to England. So I think that's the thing with Locatelli. I think we have a good chance of getting him. I really, really do. And I hope that he wants to come. I really do hope that he wants to come. Because I think he'll be a good signing. I really do think he will be a good signing. I'll get a couple of your thoughts in here. Lily's put on Kurt. Yeah, he's put about Wilson has put, yo, Francis, 2 others may not agree on everything, but I cannot understand why Arteta started players who want to leave the club instead of using youngsters like Balogun in their first game. I'll quickly go over that. I just mentioned that earlier, Wilson. So I think it was Devon or someone was asking me about why we use players. Now, there may be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players who want to leave Arsenal, or Arteta wants them out the window. And believe me, Arteta will not be wanting to play these, but he needs to play them, because if they don't move anywhere, they need to be fit. And if they do move places, they need to be fit to get the right money. You can't disrespect them, or you can't leave them out of the team because you might need them. And also then Kroenke, if you left 5 players out, Kroenke would then be saying, we are paying these wages. Why they are here, they need to be keeping fit and involved. So that's why they play. Okay? That's why managers will play. Chris has put, Fran, who deserves Ballon d'Or, Lewandowski or Messi? Well, you don't need to ask me that question, do you? You know it's going to be. Messi should win it every year while he's alive. No one should come nowhere near him. No one has been. I think he's had one bad season in about 12, hasn't he? Where he only scored about 30 goals one season. And he only assisted about 40. Yeah, you don't need to ask me, mate. Lewandowski, great player. Nowhere near a Messi. Toulouse put, Fran, who would you start against Inter in Florida? I think against Inter is a time to start having a look who's going to be your strongest 11 without, obviously, our marquee signings coming in. Now, I think we're going to get another probably 3 signings. Fingers crossed, as they say, inshallah, as they say in a different faith. But I'm hoping that we can get 3 or 4 signings in. We've got a couple of like fringe players. We've got the one with Ben White. I think we'll go for Locatelli and maybe one creative, which will be great if we can get him in. But it's very hard to say. I think Ben White and Gabby, if he's going to go a 2, Tierney, or he might put Ben White at right back and put a Mari in there or a Holding. I would then play, obviously, Partey. Not else who you're going to play. If you're going to play a 2 Holding, the only one at the moment is El Neni, ESR, Pepe, Aubameyang, and Saka. That's probably the team at the moment, to be honest. So he might go down that route, but he's going to rest Saka, he's going to rest players. So it'll just be giving people an opportunity against Inter, he really will. Wilson's put, do you think Ireland will end up at Chelsea this summer? Yeah, I'm going to go on to that as well. So we're going to go on to Varane and we're going to go on to Haaland. As soon as I've read these last couple of messages. Sentiments put, proper desperate, proper embarrassing situation for Locatelli. He wants Juve, move on, gets something new. Get them settled before season start. Yeah, we can't wait long for Locatelli. If he shows no love, and we can't wait long, because it's not going to be for, if someone's good saying is, if you convince a man against his will, you've already lost, even if you think you've won. Big up FG, big up for you, Sentiment. Love the support again, as always. Locatelli saw after Euros final. These guys are crazy. The Ultra's gone back home. Interesting. No one really spoke to him before the Euros, did they? Arteta's clown picture looks like Arteta has a doll. Yeah, it doesn't be fair. Locatelli wants Juve, but if we get him and fans support him, he will love it at Arsenal. Loads of Italian restaurants here. Move to Bedford or Little Italy, as they call it. Yeah, listen, I think he'll love it in the end. It's home from home, some areas in London. Fran, you keep calling me Chris. Oh, you know what? Every time, because Chris puts a lot of comments in and Craig puts a lot of comments in, I just look straight to the C. There you go. Craig, my apologies. And by the way, I hope your sister is well. I hope she's getting better. I really, really do. So we'll go on to the Haaland quickly. Haaland, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Haaland is going to be way too much money financially. I think I said about in one of my videos, Chelsea will have to off players, get wages from one player and get rid of that player to get Haaland in. To stay within the financial fair play guidelines. As we know, Chelsea pay ridiculous money to fringe players and poor players because they have the money. So it's going to really cost them to try and get Haaland in. So I can't see it happening. I really can't. We could see breaking news one morning that they've all come to a deal, because I believe Chelsea really, really want this. But finances are the main factor of deals. How deals are structured is very, very complicated. And a lot of people don't understand the financial side of what needs to be done, taxes, and honestly, down to the penny to get signings done. And that's why they take so long. It's not as simple as, right, we want him 150 million, give him 500 grand a week. That's it. So many different aspects have to come into that deal. So I think it's not going to happen. I did think it was very close at one point. I spoke to a couple of people that I know in Germany. I know an agent in Germany, and he was saying that Chelsea want this badly. And Dortmund want it badly, but finances-wise, I don't think it can happen this summer. So I believe his own Chelsea is the only one that are going to go for him. I don't think Man City believe that he is ready for Man City. I think they would rather go for Kane. He's more polished. He's older, but he's more polished, and they're going to get him for 50 whatever million. But I also think the Kane deal is not going to go through unless Daniel Levy changes the way that he's playing ball. We know he's hard work. Sometimes he's like the mafia, Daniel Levy, and the Sheikhs deal in a completely different way. You got to remember the Sheikhs' culture. As you know, I lived in Dubai for 2 years, just came back, and the culture of doing business is very different from Europe and America and England. Very, very different. The business is very slow. You have to respect the culture and the manner and the people that you're dealing with. And Daniel Levy may not get that. He may not get that. But we will see. So there's two deals that I don't think are going to happen. One of them possibly might happen. Kane's probably more doable, I think, than Haaland. I really do. Kane's probably more doable than Haaland, but it'd be sad if not one of them gets done. Don't think Grealish is going to get done. I think that's his agent and paper talk. Man City were never paying 100 million for Jack Grealish. I don't think, anyway. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I can't see Pep paying 100 million for Jack Grealish when he knows he can get a Spanish kid for 50 million or probably 40 million who could do the same job, if not better, somewhere. He's quite cute when it comes to that. I can't see Man City paying 100 million. I really can't. They're a family club. They take a lot of things into consideration. We've had COVID, we've had this, we had Chelsea a little bit more ruthless. So I think Jack Grealish will stay at Villa for a monstrous contract. And for me, it's a big, big, big disappointment. If you don't leave Villa now, then when will he leave? Harry Kane should have left 2 years ago, and look how hard it is now for him to leave. Big, big, big difference. Munzi's put, I wish we'd got Ben White as well as Varane. Yep, interesting. Well, if you compare the two, Munzi, right, people are saying, well, they got Varane for 50 million or whatever it was. Varane's 28. He's hit his ceiling. Man United need to get a ready-made product, top of his game, to try and close the gap on Man City. Man City have got Stones and Diaz. So Man United need Maguire and someone else. Man City have got Foden. So Man United needed to get someone close to Foden. They got Sancho. Sancho's not as good as Foden, in my opinion. That's why Man City let him go. Okay? But they had to do that. And Man United, if they get a Kane or a crazy striker, that then brings them even closer to Man City. And they need that. They really do need that. Man U need that. But Ben White would have been very good alongside... imagine Ben White alongside Maguire and Varane would have been spectacular. Wilson's put, how many signings do Arsenal need to break in the top four? We need to spend about, I would say, to break in the top four, I think we need to spend about 300 million. And I think we need 3 world-class signings and about 4 fringe players, to be honest, to get in the top 4. Tula's put, Fran, you might have gone over this already, but I'm curious, how would you rate our game play today? Because I think we weren't bad, especially against decent opposition. So quickly, because I know, as you know, I have already ran over it, Tulu. But overall, we were the better team, 60% possession. We moved the ball quite well. I like the tempo. Aubameyang was wasteful, can't hit a barn door or finish his dinner at the moment. But overall, I thought it was quite good. Biggest concern was we conceded 2 goals from set pieces, which are vital. I do believe we got a set piece coach who's come in the building. So let's hope that changes, because today set pieces were woeful. I hope that summarized it for you. Wilson, 8 signings. Sentiments put, Munzi, Chris is right. Bedford is Little Italy. Yep. Craig, not Chris, has put, Fran, thank you. My sister is slowly on the mend. Big up you and the NHS respect. Glad to hear it. Really am glad to hear it. Chris has now put, don't really know what sort of players Varane is. What defender currently in the Premier League is he like? Varane's very good, very cultured. He does need someone who's very good at the side of him, but likes to play with the ball. Covers the ground quite well. Sometimes makes it look a lot easier. So Varane's excellent. Pace may be an issue, but he plays international week, month in, month out. Kane will go to Man City towards the end of the window. I hope he does. I really do. Man City is my second favorite team. I've loved them since Pep went, even before. Love their vision, their project. Tony, I think that we take a few seasons to get higher in the league before we can sign top players again, challenge top 4. Exactly. Who's going to come to Arsenal if you're not in the top 4 fighting for Europe? They're not going to come. How's it going to help your career? It's only going to help your career if you're looking to propel steps up. You're not going to go steps down. Toulouse also, I generally don't think Odegaard is what we need. He wasn't successful for us. To be honest, Toulouse, I've got to disagree. He was our best player when he came in. Towards the end of the season, he fizzled out a little bit, but he was by far our best player. He created so much that people were not on the same wavelength. He broke lines, and the players in front of him were just not good enough to see. He's too good for Arsenal. That's why we won't get him. He's too good. He's too good for Arsenal, in my opinion. You could see he was levels ahead of anyone else really in the Arsenal team. Just levels ahead. His passing, his weight of passing, his vision, wing mirror as we call it, was the best I've seen in an Arsenal team for a long time. Long time. So some more comments out for you. What are you going over that? Obviously, don't think. Big up, Fran. Obviously, from Are You Guna, really do appreciate it. Are You Guna? Hope you're well, mate. Hope you are well. Would you go for Pedri? We'd never get Pedri. Never in a million years. Man City will go for Pedri. Best young kid I've seen. Best young midfield passer I have seen in. I can't even remember. I cannot even remember. Not fast, not quick. Never gives the ball away. Breaks lines every time. Unbelievable kid. 18 years old. We got Fran for the chat for good and no problem. Question. Wilson has put 300 million. I say fans, it takes that amount of money to spend. It has to be done. Simple as that. Yeah, 300 million. 300 million. You've got to think of the fees of world-class players. The cheapest fee of a world-class player is probably about 70 to 80 million. And it may not even be world-class. So you need 2 of them. Yeah? You need 2 70 million, 80 million signings. So there's 140 million. You then need bang average players too. 2 bang average players, right? 35 million. Before you know it, you're at 240 million. You know? By getting 4 players. Rather spend 60 on Odegaard than Maddison. Oh, all day. Maddison's not in the same league as Odegaard. Big up for the likes, people. Yeah, love it. You know, I always say, listen, the fee for me doing this content and spreading the love is just hit the like and share. Just go down to the page and hit the like. That's it. That's all we want for having this great debate on a beautiful day like this. Would you go for Maraba? I think he would do well for Arteta. He's comfortable on the ball, as you know. I think he would do well. Grant's put Chris Garvey Maddison is way better than Odegaard. Odegaard is bang average. I've got to disagree with you there, Grant. If you watched him closely, he was streets ahead of anything else we had in Arsenal's team. Maddison is a different threat. Maddison could not do what Odegaard does, and Odegaard cannot do what Maddison does. So I think it's probably unfair, like you say, to probably compare the both. But I would rather go for Odegaard all day. Big up, Fram. The sensible Gooner. Hey, listen, Sebs. The sensible Gooner. That's what you should get trending. The sensible Gooner. Hey, that's what we should be our name, eh? The sensible Gooners. That should be our group. What's your thoughts on Barca spending over 400 million on Dembele, Coutinho, and Griezmann? Griezmann, great player. Okay, we know what's happened with recently. Great player. Griezmann. Dembele, potential. I can see why they went for him. Coutinho at the time was probably one of the best in the world. So hindsight, you would say, not great. But before, you would say, good signing. So hindsight is a big thing, you know. Jesus has put, is there any reason why we really sell players for more than 20 million, Ali Xhaka, while Brighton can sell them for Ben White? I think it's because we get our recruitment wrong. I really do. And it looks like we've got it right. Would you for Tillemans? Tillemans is unreal. Love Tillemans. Love him. 27 watching now. More than Cambridge get at home. Yeah. Good banter there. Which player do you prefer right now, Maddison or Odegaard? For me, I would go for Odegaard. But they're 2 different players. For me, it's wrong to compare. If you wanted an out, so do we need a Maddison or do we need an Odegaard more? That's for me. I think we need an Odegaard more because no one else creates. ESR creates. ESR is not going to get us in the top 4. Who else creates? I've got no one. Saka can play on the wing. Pepe plays on the wing. Balogun plays on the wing. He's been playing Aubameyang out wide. So do you need Maddison? Would it be a good signing? 100%. He'll bring something. But what do you need more? Odegaard can't call free kicks, but Maddison can. But Maddison can't set up probably 25 assists. You know? The different players. Do you think Odegaard is better investment than Maddison? Well, Maddison would cost you about 70 million. Everyone knows him in the Premier League. So if he doesn't smash it at Arsenal, his reputation has gone downhill. Odegaard will cost you about 45. No, I think Odegaard will probably cost you about 60 now from Real Madrid. And everyone knows that he's nowhere near his ceiling. Odegaard may not rip it up at Madrid because you're at Madrid. Think about it. You're at Madrid. No one in the Arsenal team would get anywhere near Madrid's team. No one. Saka wouldn't get near it. And don't tell me you would before anyone. Saka would not get near the Real Madrid team. His final product is nowhere near. He's not polished. He's still raw. He's a threat. But they've got Vinicius, who is just quick. He gets near the team. He's just quick. But he's got a little bit more Brazilian, all this kind of stuff. Yeah? In my opinion. Remember, everything that I say is opinions. They're not concrete. You can have your own opinions. Okay? Now, Odegaard is going to get an opportunity to get in the Real Madrid team. He's going to have pre-season to prove to Ancelotti. Modric is going to retire, as we know soon. So it's interesting to see where he goes. And if he doesn't go from Madrid, more than likely he may go to another Premier League team, but I'm not sure Arsenal would be the team. I'd be devastated if he goes somewhere else, I can tell you that. Justin or Chilwell. Chilwell had a great season, won the Champions League, but I'm not one for just because someone's won a trophy, it makes them better than someone who hasn't. That's a poor argument for me. That's like saying Harry Kane's not world class because he's never won anything. It's a bad argument when people use it. I think it's an excuse. I would go for Chilwell. Would I? You know what? No, I'd go for Justin. I think Justin's a better defender. Sebs, if I had the chance, I would go for Luis Diaz from Porto. I thought you said David Luiz then. Had a great couple with Colombia and made team of the tournament too. We need that control up front with ability to score from outside. Yep. Not bad. I think he'd be cheap, a lot cheaper as well. Balogun didn't look that good over the last 2 games. Balogun is hyped at the moment. All right. Balogun is very overhyped. I think people are just claiming on this kid's hairline stuff. We need to wake up. Balogun is far from it. Far from it. Come on, Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal, if everyone's Arsenal fans. Agree, no Arsenal present player would make it into the Real Madrid team. Sentiment as put. Fran, do you watch foreign leagues? Not a lot, I've got to be honest. I only really watch the top teams when I have time to watch the top teams. As you know, obviously, I don't really play computer games, well, console games, whatever, FIFA, Player Manager, and that. I don't play none of that. I've not done it for a very long time. So I only go off what I see when I see players. I know a lot of you in here give me newer players. A lot of you in here are younger. You make me highlight as some of the good young players that we see in and around the world in Europe. So I only go off the so-called ones that I see majority of the time, whether it's Champions League, etc. Brandon, hope you well, mate. How you doing, Fran? Do you think Ben White is a player? South Africa's calmed down today, but we on our guard. Chances we missed today was unbelievable, Franny. Yeah. So first of all, I did give you a big shout out on the Ben White video that I put out this afternoon. So I'm glad to hear that you are safe and well and it's calmed down. And yes, we just missed loads of chances today. We really did. We dominated the game, but we missed a lot of chances. But listen, as a former striker stroke winger or winger stroke striker, always get your bad ones out of the way pre-season and get your bad ones out in the training. It don't matter. It's when it comes to the game, but you do need to try and get a goal in pre-season to build some confidence in your ability and your self-confidence. On ability, who is preference? Luis or Maguire? I chose Luis. Hey, listen, whatever it is, Luis may be a better footballer than Maguire on the ball, but Maguire has proved that he is a proper defender. Can score from set pieces, will win a lot of 90% of his aerial battles. Positioning is good, wants to win. And he's proven that when he don't play for Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, that he's sadly missed. So for me, I think Maguire, because I've seen him more, is the one for me, to be honest. So we're just gone over an hour, people. I mean, it goes fly by, don't it? It flies by when we're in the chat. It really does. Craig has put, Fran, if Arsenal signed Suarez when they made that £40 million, would we win the Premier League? I believe we would have won the Premier League if we signed Suarez. That £1 cost us winning the Premier League. It was our best time. All we needed was a player like Suarez, and no one else could compete with us at the time. Hopefully Ben White is a good signing. I think he'll be a good signing. He's not going to be one that pull-up shapes. He's not going to start twisting people on the edge of the box, putting it in the top corner, taking people on. But I think he's going to be solid. Will he make mistakes? 100%, like every other footballer. But I think he's a good investment. I really do. Franny, I was played FIFA 05 today. I was your player in Lincoln. I purchased you to Arsenal team. Yeah. So I was on FIFA games. Yeah, I was on FIFA. You could buy me. I was not bad. I was good on 08 as well. I was good on 08. I had my orange Mercurials. Back then, the skin complexion, they got it all wrong. If you was black or mixed race, you all look black. Very different from FIFA games now. But hey, yeah, I think I've got good speed on there. Nothing else. Ben White seems like a good defensive offensive. He's a good player. He's good on the ball. Can get forward as well. Bad in South Africa currently. Also remember Cuba. They are all really suffering at the moment under the communist dictatorship. It's weird, isn't it? Because we live in a country where we don't have kind of dictatorship. And our country is crazy, as in the behavior of people. But we never really go to the level of, you know, really, really bad rioting. But in society, we do terrible things like towards women and different race and towards children, which happens all around the world, but we don't really have a set of rules. And then you have players, countries where it is dictatorship and they rebel because the dictatorship don't treat their people right. I know I mentioned it quite a lot, the UAE and places like that. They have got it, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They have got it perfect. They treat their own superbly. And they have certain rules that you can't do this and that, but they give everyone freedom to live a very, very nice life. And social media and certain platforms are banned. You do get arrested for any hate. You do, and it keeps society so nice. Dubai is probably the most perfect place ever. I've come back because COVID, sustainability, it's expensive to live. But actually, day-to-day life, it's perfect. They've got the balance perfect, but there's not many places around the world, unfortunately, that get it right. And it seems that dictatorship countries really suffer more than anything else. But, you know, it's sad. It really is sad. The world can be quite a sad place. But philosophy, as you know, philosophy will make you enjoy life no matter what environment you are in. Where are we? Argoon put stay safe, Brandon. Appreciate that there. He's going for a tough time. Oh, wait, you're about 70 overall, bro, but I will purchase you there as well. Laugh out loud. Mind my typing. I'm busy working on the side and I got your stream on another screen. Hey, listen, you keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate that you're getting me on FIFA, which is good to see that you're playing the old FIFA games, really is. Sentiment's put Maguire don't score headers. Aki's woeful. He's had his tongue for nothing. 4 goals of 3.5 years. Yeah, you know what? We only remember that he goals that he scores, but I just think he's probably better in the Premier League. That's just my opinion. But, you know, could be wrong. Could be wrong. So, right, I'm going to wrap it up there, people. Another amazing stream from everyone. I hope that we covered everything. I hope that you got something valuable out of today's content. I really do appreciate everyone coming in the chat. The love, honestly, the love is unreal to everyone. Really do appreciate it. I'm not sure whether we're going to be on tomorrow. Maybe I'll see, not sure. May do a day of rest or do some analysis on my other work and have a look at what's available around. But if not, I will see you, as you know, beginning of the week, Monday, and we will take it from there. Great stream, everyone. Really do appreciate it. Doesn't happen unless you are here. And enjoy the rest of your day. You take